Well, everybody, hi, it's Friday. It is Friday the 13th, so happy Friday the 13th. This is Friday. The divine feminine number is 13, and Friday is Venus, which is divine feminine energy, 13, divine feminine energy. So we've got that going on. And then we have this wonderful masculine energy, which Lorelei is going to talk about, which is Mars, and Mars goes direct today. And we're going to do a little celebration, a little ritual, a writing ritual at 7:36. 7:36. So before that, I want to show you guys the paintings that I've been doing. I just have been trying to channel the energy of the light beings. And I can picture what they look like as far as the angels. When they appeared to me as angels of the earth, they had a very definite form, and they had, as Zaya called it, edges. They have a physical form. But when I see them as their true selves, their light being selves, there are no edges. They're infinite. However, in order to express them on a canvas, if I don't give them edges, then they pretty much turn out, I'll show you this one, pretty much looks like this, where it's just infinite. And it's just lots and lots of light all over the place. So
magnificent.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And this to me is Crow, which he's been channeling. I've been channeling Crow a lot. He's the angel, the angel of the earth for the second storm. But as a light being, he's about wisdom. He's all about wisdom. And then this one, to give it edges, this is what I see. And I'm going to be trying to draw the prisms for each one of them as well, because each one of them have a prism. So that's another one that I did. And then I tried to give it even a little more form as I saw them kind of in between their earth self and their light self. And so, again, I've been just playing with different things. What do you think?
It's an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, when they appear to us, they appear as angels. They are angels of the earth so that we can recognize their form. We like their form. And most people talking about this Venus energy, when I look at them, they're usually pretty sexy. They're very sexy angels. Well, that's not
they're very nice
set of hands. But this is light, and it kind of is when I saw them in their angel form as they were moving up through the prisms, showing me that they were, light beings. This is kind of that in-between phase.
Mm.
So
I love all three.
It's like this.
That's at that awkward stage.
Yeah. It's like this. They transform. And again, I can't do the physical form thing. I'm going to try, but I don't know. I'll keep trying. But I saw them like this as they began to transform. And then they were like this. And then they were just infinite beings. It was just incredible.
That's my favorite.
I just love that. And this is Zaya, as Zaya was beginning to transform.
Wow.
So again, I've been trying to just capture what they look like in my mind, which is just so incredible to me. And I'm not a big artist.
You're a great artist.
I'm
You're a great artist. They're magnificent.
Well, thank you. And I really love this one. This is just form. And, but it's not one of the light beings. It just is. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite ones for just a regular.
It almost looks like the essence of a flower.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and I'm going to try some flowers. And, this is all where you pour it and you kind of blow it. And then
I love that one.
Mm-hmm. And this
I
one's
like that one.
not quite dry yet, but here's another one. that I did. And again, they're in between, a lot of these are in between the physical form and, as they are transitioning into these light beings that just are infinite.
Can you show us the Zaya one again?
Yes. This is how I see Zaya. And when she first came from the earth, she connects heaven and earth. And when she first rose up, she was red when she first came up, and she had red hair. And then as soon as she hit the sunlight, she started turning white. And I realized that she's connecting heaven and earth. So that's why you see some red in there. And then when she was becoming, it was like the dissolving of this physical form into the light of who they are. So this is what I saw.
Cindy, do you remember me saying to you on a couple of different occasions over the time that we've known each other that with your Pisces energy and your Virgo, Jupiter and Virgo, that you're here to connect heaven and earth to heaven?
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. And Zaya is the one, she's been coming to me a lot lately, especially through this whole election process, and asked us to release and just trust, because that is the hardest thing to recover, is trust, once trust has been broken. So she said that the only way to really regain our trust is to connect heaven and earth. And don't just be in the earth, because the earth will lie to you every time. and if we just try to connect to heaven, then we're not living in this earth plane. So we all want to ascend. We want to be in the fifth dimension. But then, and I've said this many times, James Von Prague says, some people are so spiritual, they're no earthly good. So we have to be connected between the two. And what's interesting is when I did my my chart for what do you call it? The human design chart. Mm-hmm. I'm juxtaposition, which means my destiny is to connect heaven and earth.
And you come in with a Libra moon, which is about being a bridge.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, is just trying to capture in my mind's eye what I'm seeing. But I think this is fabulous. And again, then they just go
like the facets of a diamond to me.
Do what?
Facets of a diamond.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they're light, and they have, each one of them have a prism. And like my grandson, wise kid that he is, psychic that he is, he said, when I told him about Zaya and that she asked us to find our edges. Whenever we step into her light, we have to always find our edges, because that's how we reflect our light, is through these physical bodies while we're on this earth plane. We can't reflect our light if we're always trying to be up here, because that's not who we are. Each one of them, they are light. They're like the sun. In order for the sun to reflect, it needs the clouds, it needs a mirror, it needs something to reflect that light, because in and of itself, it's just bright and massive and, everywhere. And they're the same way. So each one of them have their own prism, so that we can direct their light, so that we can reflect their light wherever we need it to be. So if we want to uncover truth, which is what I have been doing all week long, and we did last Sunday in the meditation, is I've been directing her light of trust to our election. That's what I was doing, is just directing her light to trusting that it's going to be a fair and free election. And what did they say? It was the most secure election they have ever had, ever. And when I read that, I went, of course, Zaya was on the job. So I just thought that was really interesting when they came out with that report. So I think it's pretty cool.
Every time you show us the Zaya, I feel like, oh my gosh, I want that clothing. Like it's like this beautiful New York model. She just like fashion model. She's like so gorgeous and sexy. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to dress like that.
You can get that at Amazon for angels.
Yeah. So the next angel that is communicating with me, angel of the earth, came to me as Crow. And Crow is, thank you, Gary. You want to say hi to everybody? He just brought me some wine and he didn't know that I had champagne here. But and I grabbed the champagne because I didn't want it to go bad.
Oh, yeah.
So say hi.
Hey, Gary.
Hi, all.
So he's been watching me over there getting paint all over myself and trying to create these things. But Crow is the second angel, which is willful ignorance. And willful ignorance is the invites the destruction of wisdom. And so when people choose not to believe what's right in front of their eyes, or their, the alternate, what they call the alternative facts, they're really killing their own wisdom, their own divine wisdom. They're not tapping into that knowing. And so I've been getting a lot from Crow, who is black and white with some colors throughout. And Crow is a shapeshifter. When he was on this earth plane, he was often seen by the monks as a crow. And when I saw him, he was a man with a long white beard and white outfit, but had a crow cape on with the beak up here, and then he had his angel wings. And then when he expanded and came up, it was just this burst of light. And like I said, this is pretty much when he just burst into light. That's what he looked like to me. And you can see, I don't know if you can see some of the colors in there, which a crow has kind of a rainbow color if you look at him carefully. So anyway,
you can almost see his nose and his features on that. I don't know if you look at it when you were putting it close up. There's like a face.
Is there?
It's one of those things that everybody can see something different in it, you know?
Yeah.
Like those things. Yeah.
We'll have to get good images of all of them.
Yeah.
Because,
we will.
Because just holding it up like that, you can't really see how beautiful it is.
Well, we will.
Yeah.
We will all. You'll all be able to see them because Ferris will take pictures or whatever you do to capture them, Ferris, and they'll be on the website as I get the proper images for each of them, and there'll be evolutions of images. I really would like to be able to draw what they look like when I first saw them, and then what they look like when they go to that, heavenly dimension, and they're just light. They're just light beings. It blows me away. And the information they give me is always accurate. And I'm humbled and honored. And sometimes it scares me because I'm like, oh my God. And it's, I just have to get out of my own way and not let my ego get in the way. So, and that's not really been much of a problem because it's so freaking humbling. So I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense to anybody?
Well, yeah, you're a vessel.
Yeah, it hasn't, I've almost been like not feeling worthy. I have to kind of battle that side of it more than the ego side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I've been doing as I'm writing, as I'm getting more information from the angels, and we'll talk about Crow and what Crow has been telling me on Sunday. So quick announcement. Next Tuesday, we will not be having a call. And the reason is because Ferris and I would like to finish the website. So next week, we're going to be going back through. He's now uploading all the videos that we've done before, putting it on the site. So they'll be available. And we're trying to get that finished this next week. So we're going to take a week off. So is that okay with everybody?
And if it's not, that's too bad.
Yeah. There you go. So Lorelei, this energy that we have right now, we've got so much energy coming in Mars. You want to go ahead and share?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a mix of energy because so for the last 5 months, for the last 10 weeks, the planet of action, which is Mars, the planet of desire, passion, drive, initiative, what propels us forward. It does this every 2 years. It appears to go backwards. So it's almost like, and again, if you look at, of course, the happenings going on the planet, lockdowns and shutdowns and all of this, well, we've had to go inside to look at what is really driving me. One could be saying to the universe, what am I taking a stand for? What is driving me? What is igniting me? What is making me feel alive? There's been a lot. So what happens when Mars is retrograde? We can repress desire. We can repress anger. And now Mars has been literally sort of standing still in the sky for the last week or so in the most courageous, in a sign it's very much at home in Aries, the initiating fire sign of Aries, what I love to call Star Trek energy. So tonight, and in about 15 minutes, Mars is going to go direct again, moving forward. So some of you could feel like you've been stalled, or why haven't things happened? It could be easy to make it about what's going on out there. And again, I don't say this lightly. It's never about what's going on out there. It's about what's going on in here and then working with what's going on out there. So there could be a lot of opportunities to say, well, I couldn't do this because of COVID, or I'm not going to get into that discussion, but the point is, from a spiritual perspective, we've all been given this time to look at where we are with power, where each of us is with the right use or the misuse of power. We're certainly seeing a lot of that on the outer. We're looking at who's got authority over us. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, can't do this, can't go. We can still feel sovereign, that word sovereign of our own authority, even with lockdowns and shutdowns and sanctions and whatever. So what's brewing now is it's like the horse is getting ready to run the race. You could feel like you're a bit like a horse pawing the ground. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. It could feel like the car getting ready for the long trip. Like you've been doing points and plugs and getting your being ready for brand new beginnings, because we have a major shift. I just want to talk about this briefly, Cindy. I'm sure we'll do more on this. There is a major shift coming on the winter solstice this year. Some of you may know about this on December 21st. That's always the solstices and the equinoxes are always power points every year, because they're when the sun, which is what we invest our heart's energy into, when the sun in the sky is going into an initiating sign. What's happening on the winter solstice is that the two planets of business, the planet Jupiter, which is the planet of growth and expansion and wisdom, optimism, truth, and Saturn, the planet of contraction, the planet of reality, the planet of mastery, are coming together. They come together every 20 years. But they don't come together. The last time, I think I said this to you, Cindy, the last time Jupiter and Saturn, they begin a whole new cycle on the winter solstice. The last time they came together in Aquarius was 800 years ago, when the Magna Carta was signed. We're no longer under the authorities of the kings. So think about what's going on our planet and the metaphor of that. We're no longer under the authorities that are out there in whatever political party. It really doesn't make any difference from the standpoint of, even if things appear to be imposed on us, at the same time, you could still feel like you're more sovereign in your own being than you ever have before. And some of you know this because we've talked before, and Cindy and I and Ferris are good friends. I was in a very dark place that I'd never been in my life, really didn't know what my value, my worth, and I'm not, although many of us were, I didn't know if I would come out. And I was so sad about that because I thought, oh my God, if I never come out of this darkest night of my soul, how will I ever be able to be of value and service and be a beacon, because we're all here to be the light of the world in our own unique way. How will I be able to be that if I don't even want to answer the phone? Basically. So thank you again, Cindy, for being with me there, and Ferris and anyone that I know here that just held any kind of space. So now that I did come out of that place, now I am really feeling the excitement of what's coming, even though nobody really has a clue. We just know somehow we're all on this bridge, especially those in this community, on the bridge somewhere between 3D and 5D. We're on the bridge to 4D because we are moving. It's going to be, who knows how many decades, it might be thousands of years, who knows. But we're moving to a place of co-creation and collaboration and cooperation. That's what we're moving toward. So this crumbling and disintegration of all these things that appeared to make us feel secure, it's totally right on. And as I said, I probably couldn't say it I kind of knew it even back in the late winter, early spring, but I wasn't there from a feeling level, and I never knew that I would get there. But the point is, so coming back to today, so here we are now, the planet of Mars has been retrograde since September 9th, is moving forward in Aries. So on the one hand, you could feel afraid, you could feel brave, you could feel, I'm ready to do what's mine to do. I'm ready to move forward. It's the Star Trek energy. It's like, I'm ready to go where I've never been before. And to know that we are creating things that don't even exist yet. We are creating, and we're not creating from the models that we know. And the more we try to hold on to what defined us and what, quote, made us feel secure, the more that's going to be like, putting your hands in sand or something. It's just not going to work. So, I mean, to me, those of us that consider ourselves bringers of the light, beacons of the light bearers, whatever, we've lived for this time that's going on now, because we have the option to shine our light even brighter now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, now it's interesting. Okay. So Mars goes direct tonight. However, tomorrow is the dark of the moon, because 12:07 a.m. on Sunday will be the new moon in Scorpio. Well, Scorpio is about power. Scorpio is about magic, transformation. It's like wherever any of you have been this year in any kind of fear, or is it, feeling like afraid of what's going on out there, there has been this opportunity to, as much as we may have felt disempowered, to ultimately feel empowered. And that would be the rebirth at this Scorpio new moon on a spiritual level. It's like the rebirth of your own sense of self-empowerment, you and the Lord of your being. So, I'm really excited because, the new moon for all of you falls somewhere in your chart. And for me, it falls in the house of creative self-expression. Well, here we are doing this. And I'm just saying to the universe, hey, wherever my light is supposed to shine, I'm going, God. I don't know where that is, but I just know I'm going to show up. So I'm a big fan of the voice. And I think we all have the opportunity now to find our voice and to sing the song that we came here to sing, that we wouldn't necessarily know what that is had we not lived through this year that we've all been in, this year of 2020. Talk about perfect vision, right? 2020. Astrologers knew that something would happen in 2020 that would instigate, if you will, the fall of the patriarchy, which has been happening. But I don't know that anyone necessarily predicted a pandemic, although we've had those before. But again, we can choose to see that out of these ashes will rise things that would not have been born had this death and destruction not have been occurring. So that's what I believe. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Well, with the pandemic, this has been since the very beginning, Lorelei, as you know, I was told this is not about fear. It's about respect, respecting it, respecting each other, respecting wearing your mask, not because somebody's forcing you to do so, but because you respect others, because you respect yourself and you respect others. And I just had a big scare because on Halloween, the evening of Halloween, my neighbor came over and she came over earlier and she had on a ghost mask or a ghost costume, covered her body and her fiance. And then they came back later with some wine and some dip. And we had the dip together. We had some wine. She has COVID and she is deathly, deathly, deathly ill. We weren't wearing masks and we got careless for a moment. And we tested negative, but she's in bad shape. And she's a nurse. She actually works with patients that have a residual issue with COVID with their kidneys. She does kidney dialysis. So she's got a lot of dialysis patients. And we just got a warning, by the way, that in Tennessee, our hospitals are about to max out with new COVID patients. And here, their whole team that she works with are out with COVID.
Wow.
So when we look at these things, it's not about fearing that as much as the overwhelm that we have. We can't even get treated if we do get it. So I look at that and go, wow, what wild energy here that we're all experiencing while we're at the worst. How many cases today, Ferris? 150,000 new cases?
I don't know.
Okay. While it's surging. And
well,
we stay empowered during this time, again, not to fear, but you just go, whoa, I got careless for a night. Thank God Gary and I were okay.
Well, and a lot of it, and again, I'm not minimizing any of the rules and the regulations and what we need to be doing, but everything is a result of what we believe on some level. On some level of creation. So the fact that there would be something outside of us that could be scaring us like this. And I just want to say, this is an aside, my naturopath, who's my chiropractor, he's got all kinds of diplomate degrees. He has a protocol for COVID. So that has worked on like 46 of his patients. So all I'm saying is there are protocols for this, and we don't necessarily have to cave in under I have to get really sick necessarily. Some people may just need a timeout. They may need a timeout, and this is a way to create timeout for a period of time. I mean, so there's sacred. Well, you and I both know this. I mean, there's sacredness in all of this.
So in the moon, I mean, in the Mars. What are we likely to be feeling? Because in about 6 minutes, I'm going to.
Okay. Well, what we could
ask here, which I think is great.
Feeling angry. People could be feeling a lot of heat energy. That a lot of people have had fevers recently. Mars retrograde, fever, inflammation. That is a Mars construct, if you will. But again, if we can surrender into the being true to self, like a lot of folks could feel. I know what I stand for now, and this is what I believe. And people could feel really pretty strong in whatever their belief systems are about anything now. But again, it's an opportunity to take a stand, if you will, protest in other words, whatever that means, but standing sovereign in our own lives and saying, I'm being true to myself by making this decision or going in this direction or taking this stand. Can be and then coupled with the fact that the new moon is coming in a little more than a day, makes it a really powerful time. And then as we lead up to the winter solstice. So the energy is going to shift major by the end of the year. And when people go, well, I can't wait for 2020 to be over. So forget that, folks. That's chronology. Don't think about, it's all going to be over at the end of 2020. No, it's not. It's an energetic thing. It's not about the chronology of the end. We always go, I'm so glad that year is over because that was so difficult. Well, let's just not let's not get too stupid with that, like everything's going to change because it's 2021.
Yeah, and when I look into 2021, and I've said this many times to everybody, by winter, 250,000 more people are going to die from July 25th. That's still, they're telling me it's true. And winter, I don't know if that's the solstice or not. I just hear winter is coming, and that's what's going to happen. So I don't know when that is. And then for the new year, Lorelei, I see nothing. I don't see anybody on the streets. I don't see anybody out. I see a lot of, everything kind of looking destitute. However, I see all the ants under the ground rebuilding things. It's like I see a little ant farm, and there's all this stuff going on that will bring us back out into the open while we're in that space. So it's not scary at all. It's actually, it's a good thing. So I see that very, very clearly.
Well, we can look at it. It can be a tomb or it can be a womb.
I like that. Very good. Very cool. Well, the thing that I want everybody to think about, we're coming up on, it's 6:33, so we've got 3 minutes.
Okay.
And again, this is from Moonology, and I love this as a ritual. The Scorpio new moon is the ideal time to ditch a grudge. This seems to be a year that is filled with grudges. And when I read that, I almost laughed out loud, because when she put this out, I'm sure she did not know what was going to go on. And everywhere you look, there's grudges. People, they're having to rebuild relationships. So I would like to just, in just a moment, have everyone, and Lorelei, whatever comes to you in doing this, I would like you to just kind of add to this.
Okay.
Just envision who or what you have a grudge about or towards. And they say to write about it. But before you write about it, I would like everybody to draw it. What does it look like? Can you draw something? It can be a stick figure, it can be scribbling, it can be whatever, and then identify it. And then once you have that, then you're able to tear it up, to burn it when we get off let's not do that on the call. But when we're done, to take that piece of paper and just, you can flush it if you want to. You can put it in a balloon and release it if you want to. You can burn it, which is what I'm going to be doing, is burning it. So however you want to dispose of this. Is there anything you want to add to that comes to you?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I want to add, if I may.
Yes.
Just, I want to do a little prayer around, because anger and passion is the same energy. Anger is passion that doesn't have another outlet. So I'm just kind of being guided. So if just everybody just take a nice deep cleansing breath and breathe in from the core of the earth, up through the soles of your feet, all the way through your body and out through the top of your head. And then breathe in from the central sun and bring the energy down through your head, through your body, out through your feet and down into the core of the earth. And just do a couple of cycles of that, where you're visualizing the energy coming from the core of the earth, up through your body, out through your head to the central sun, and then back down through. And then Father, Mother, God, we are so grateful for this shift of energy. And we know that anything that we are angry about, anything we hold a grudge about, anything we hold anger toward ourselves, anyone else, is just the passion of the divine that we have not known how to channel. And so in this moment of being together, we are grateful to have this opportunity to transmute, as we come up to the Scorpio new moon, to transmute any anger into passion, and that we are guided how to use that passion, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, use me, God, show me how to take who I am, who I can be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself. And for this guidance, we are eternally grateful. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Amen.
And so it is. So let's just take a moment and just envision the grudge, whatever that grudge is. If it's towards somebody, something, somebody telling you to do something, whatever it happens to be, an institution, whatever it is, I want you to picture it in your mind. And I always believe that better out than in. So whatever you're envisioning, bring it out and put it onto the page. And if you're more comfortable putting it into words, that's fine. But if you can draw it, go ahead and draw a picture of whatever that looks like for you. And then you can put some words on that. And you don't have to share this with us.
This can also be used, Cindy, as a release list too before the Scorpio new moon, what we're doing here.
A release?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what this is meant for. It's a release. And this may take us a while to really come up with a complete list. So you can continue this after the call today. We'll take just a couple more minutes. And
Cindy, may I share something that came into my awareness today when I was preparing for one of my sessions?
sure.
Because I read it earlier this morning, and until you started talking, I couldn't make the connection. But we were working on clearing the 3 R's: resentment, rejection, and regret. And what it says, when we pull resentments, we have to realize the brain is similar to a computer. If you pull, for example, I resent my mother, it may clear at first, but seamlessly transform into a grudge against your mother. The next step is to pull the grudge, but then the person may become uncomfortable because that grudge is keeping them safe.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have the belief that this grudge is keeping us safe because we hold on to the resentment and the grudges to keep ourselves safe from people who have hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
And what the other R that came in was revenge. That we end up getting caught up in the lies of all. Anyway, I just thought it was important to bring it up just because it came into my awareness so many times today during my work. And it was like, oh yeah, like I'll even hold a grudge against myself for having made the mistake not being as cautious on Halloween, for example, that like we'll even set up these boulders against ourselves. Anyway, thanks for letting me share. I just thought that was
beautiful because that fits right in with what we're talking about. And as you were sharing, Lorelei, that's Zaya energy. When you were connecting, that's exactly what we do is from the crystalline core. You bring up that energy. That's where she resides. That's what she came up with. And she is, her name means light. So she comes from the earth, from the crystalline core to the light. And she is, she connects the two. So you can stay grounded. So you have that earth energy. And that first storm is about, is envy. And from envy comes revenge. It comes lust, and all of these negative energies can come. Those are all things that can, jealousy. All of those things come from that first storm.
Well, and that's all shadow. That's all shadow stuff that's coming
all
up.
shadow, which is
seen to be released. Right, exactly.
Yeah. So that's that Scorpio energy to let go of all that. That's beautiful. So Lee, that fits right in with what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
And all the energy that we've been receiving lately.
The other thing that came out of the group work that we did around this. Oh, yes. Chin chin. The group work that was around this was a lot of the interference of these fears. It's like a setup. It's like we get set up because if we were to really go within, is there anyone on this call now, present, or in the future who is designing their lives to harm others? I don't see that at all.
Yeah.
And that it's this interference that has us believe, and it's interference from creations that do harm. But we're not involved in that in any way. And it's almost like a trickster energy that's coming to trick us, to manipulate us using interference to create these vengeful grudges that aren't even ours to begin with.
Ferris, you look like you have a thought about that.
No, actually, I'm lost.
Oh,
You're not lost. You're just exploring.
Janice Stanfield wrote a song for that.
Exactly. Well, see, from a Ho'oponopono standpoint, if it's in our reality, we got to clean it up.
I've been doing Ho'oponopono today.
I almost have it on a loop so often. It's like if something is going on, we can neutralize it and clean it as opposed to it doesn't belong to us.
So together now, once we have this, and you don't have to share yours, I'm going to burn this after I'm done.
I got my list
as
here.
release. That's how I like to release it. I'm going to add to it. I'm going to add to this. We are now Mars is direct. Yay. Plan of action and power. Isn't it interesting, Ferris, that we decided to take off next week to focus on the website?
Good planning. Well,
it's perfect because
Lorelei told us. I beat you to it, Lorelei. She told us so.
Yep.
I didn't know you listened, though.
Sometimes.
Well, here is to Mars direct.
And to Lorelei.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And may we all get on the Starship Enterprise together.
Yes.
And here's to the grunge who didn't steal Christmas.
And all the Hallmark movies.
Grunge? I meant grudge.
Grudge. I was wondering where that came from. But again, I love this. Yasmin Boland is her name, and she comes out with this diary, and this is where every time I get a download, and this book is this book is filled this year. It's been filled with all the downloads that I've been getting and tracking and talking about here, so that when that time comes to pass, I want evidence. We were told at the beginning of the year that everything this year would be about having evidence, proof. So I'm given stuff, and then I talk about it here, and then it comes to pass. And that's because I'm a science gal. I believe in science. That's my background. That's what my degrees are in. And I like the proof. So I just think it's been really perfect that we've been able to record this. And then when things happen, I'm like, okay, why do I doubt you? Why do I doubt you? Which we all do. We hear that and we start second guessing ourselves. And
there's so much guidance now. I mean, there is so much guidance where really we have this opportunity to really, as you are, and we all receiving messages from all kinds of beings, I mean, it's exciting.
And again, as we go into this next phase, which I see barren, I see, people are going to go inside so they can get this under control. And while, you have in my nurse practitioner that I go to, she also has a protocol that helps a lot of people, but there's a certain number of people that it won't help, depending on their health issues. And so those are the people that we want to make sure that we protect, the people that are vulnerable, or they don't have a practitioner that they go to. So they don't even know this exists. So these are the people that we want to protect. And so when we're in, we can send out our light from our physical bodies, from our edges that we're given. We are our own prisms. Feel the light within, and you can send it out to other people.
And our thoughts are magnetic more now than ever. Mm-hmm. So that's why when we send prayer, it works.
Yeah. And people are sending prayer to the prayer wave, and we need to step that up with so many people getting COVID right now. And just everything that's going on. There's so many other things than that because the hospital beds are filling up. what is happening now is people that need treatment for cancer and, the kidney dialysis and all this stuff. They're not even able to do that. So that's the danger, is what's happening with the hospitals. And Gary's having to face that. That's what he does. So managing all that is just a nightmare around the country. And so this time is really about sending out that light and not being part of the problem, but part of the solution. Is the way that I'm seeing this, so that our systems don't get overwhelmed.
And so, Sharon has had her hand up for ages and has been waiting patiently.
I didn't see anybody with a hand up.
Sharon, can you unmute yourself?
Oh, it's Sharon.
Hey.
Hey, Sharon.
Hi.
Hey, I just put that there because the last time I was on with Lorelei, I forgot about putting my hand up, and I was like towards the last. So this time I said, I'm going to put my hand up first. And then I forgot I had it up. Okay. So here's what I want to say. I didn't get on. I was having difficulty getting on because they kept saying that my internet connection wasn't working. So I probably missed a lot of all this. So if you've answered this question, let me know. But because of the COVID situation, I'm a cancer patient that's going to start chemo on Monday. Lorelei knows about this and so forth. And so, after that, my immune system can be low. So I look at it as I'm just going to kind of hibernate like a bear for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to turn that around as a positive. And I was talking with Lorelei about that. I guess what's hard for me when we talk about grudges is that there's so much cognitive dissonance out there because the people who don't understand the need for a mask for a person like me, because my immune system will be low, how is it that I know this isn't a psychology thing here, but how is it that they could be reached so that rather than them having to end up in a COVID hospital, in a hospital with COVID, and that's how they're finally getting that, I wish I would have had a V8 moment. How is it that maybe some of the people that don't believe in masks, do they have to get to the point where they're actually in the hospital under a respirator for them to understand that we're all in this together?
A lot of people, that's what's happened to a lot of people, is they report from their hospital beds and they're like, I didn't believe this at all. I thought it was just fake. And they're reporting from their hospitals and they're like, and now I might not even be here. So all we can do is they will continue to put out those reports, and it's up to somebody else. We can't make somebody do it except for if the government mandates it, which we got the emergency today because of all of our hospitals being full now. So we have to wear the masks. Just do it. Why fight it? I mean, why? Yeah. What's my ego is not involved in this. Besides that, you can have fun with the masks.
I just ordered a bunch of Christmas masks.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do that too, Lorelei. You have to tell me where you got yours because you can have fun with them. We had the ones for Halloween, and I have.
Anybody want astrological masks? I have a connection.
Oh, send it to us. Put it in there. Let's make this fun.
And Sharon?
Yes.
I know exactly how you feel. And I get so frustrated. I'll give you an example of what happened to me. I was in Home Depot one day, getting ready to check out into the self-checkout thing. And there's a guy there that watches the checkout, and he's talking to another guy. They're both not wearing a mask. And they're talking about, why should we have to wear a mask? And I walked up and I said, can I share something with y'all? And I opened my shirt, showed them. I don't know if you're normally here. You're not normally here. I had open heart surgery earlier this year.
A 3-day open heart surgery.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Not in a good, awesome kind of way. Anyway, I opened my shirt and I showed him the staples, and I said, the doctor tells me that if I get COVID, I'll probably last about 3 days. And I said, that's why I really appreciate it if people wear a mask around me. They both put on their mask.
It's about just
and the thing is, how do you express that to people who are so full of anger because somebody's telling them what to do, or somebody's making up this bullshit about COVID? And I don't know who they think is filling up the hospitals. It's really frustrating, and all we can do is just all we can do.
Yeah.
There's my rant.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah, and that
was a good story.
And the surgeon and his doctors contacted me and his son and said, "You've got to keep him protected," and that's why he's living with us. Ferris is living with us right now to keep him protected, and since he has to be, I'm also in lockdown. We have family members that go out, but because Ferris and I work together, I don't go out that much, so that I'm sure that I'm okay, except for that one careless time that I had.
And let me tell you how bad it can get. I just saw on Facebook yesterday, there's a fireman here in a nearby community. Both his parents just died from COVID. He's a single father. He's on a respirator in the hospital in Columbia right now with COVID. And his insurance is probably not going to cover it all. And he's a single father. I wish people had worn a mask around him. And it makes me just want to choke somebody.
Well, again, I was told at the beginning of the year, and I still absolutely believe this, everybody, as far as the COVID story, this is about learning to respect each other again, respecting ourselves and respecting others. This has never been about fear. From the beginning, I was told that, so I never have felt afraid of it, ever. I have always felt respectful. If I respect myself and wear a mask, I respect, and I'm respecting other people. And then I'm put in a situation where I'm really forced to respect because of Ferris. We couldn't go around each other for 14 days after I was, around on
RESPECT.
Yeah, until we got our tests back. I couldn't even be around him because even though I tested negative, they said I could still pass it on. So crazy. Yeah, it's about respect. And I think that is a good thing to learn that again. When I see people on the web and certain things that people they're acting out and everything, there's just a lack of respect for each other. And that's the grudge that I released. I won't show you all I wrote, but again, I'm not the big artist here, but there's my crowd.
Well, you know what's part of the challenge?
That's the crowd of people.
You know what's part of the challenge?
What's that?
It's when we meet somebody, showing respect without shaking hands.
Yeah. But you know what's cool?
You have to think about it.
When we had the Halloween party and I met some of our neighbors that I've never met before, or some that come from other neighborhoods because they heard we had a dragon to take pictures in with their kids. And they just came up to thank me and they said, I'd shake your hand and I'd say, I just went like this. And we did the elbow thing.
Yeah.
And we all started laughing. And they said, hey, at least we still have points of contact. So there are things that we can do. Let's make this an experience instead of something negative. We can make this an experience. And again, it's, respecting other folks. And I don't think that we're going to lock down again at all. I don't think we'll go back to a total lockdown. Just when we're out, the scientists are saying, let's respect each other, wear a mask. I believe the science. So.
And Dolores, you got what you got. And by the way, Sharon, good luck.
Yes, yes, Sharon. And when do you start?
Thank you. Monday.
Monday. Okay.
And
I'm
if I
sending
may,
prayers.
I just want to share, can I share just Sharon? So
Yeah.
Sharon is born with Mars in Aries. She's a Cancer with Mars in Aries. So she's in a whole renewal of courage, of bravery, of being true to herself. So, we're seeing this as her adventure to that part of herself and reconnecting with how courageous she's been in her life. So
I even have my own Wonder Woman button that I wear all the time, and I lost it. So I had some friends mail me some new Wonder Woman buttons to wear on Monday.
Oh, I love that.
That's my symbolism for courage.
Yeah.
You can give your name to be in the prayer wave. Did you know that?
No.
Can you explain?
Yes, the prayer wave is literally a wave. You know how you're in a stadium and everybody lifts their hand and does this, and it goes all the way around the stadium. Well, the prayer wave is similar to that, in that whatever time zone everybody's on, they send their prayers and healing energy to the prayer wave. And so everybody does it at 8:00, no matter where you are on that time zone. So all the way around the world, people are praying at 8:00, and creates this wave and keeps movement going. So many people, they have these big groups, which is great, and it kind of jump starts everything with the prayer. They have these huge prayer waves, but then it's kind of like this big whoosh, and then dies back down again. The prayer wave keeps that energy going. So we keep it going every single day. I do this. And I place.
Also, if we see consecutive numbers.
Pardon me?
Also, if we see consecutive numbers, then you have to stop and put a flow into the prayer wave.
Yep.
I do that like 4 times a day.
11:11, 3:33.
I see 11:11 and 111 all the time.
Okay, that's gateway number. That's new beginnings. That is the master dreamer number is 11. So, yeah, manifestation.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I did not know about that.
Yeah.
So I just at 8:00. It's 8 p.m. or 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
Okay.
8 a.m. You can just send it into the prayer wave, and I just wrote down your name, Sharon, so that you go into the prayer wave.
Thank you.
I'll put you in, and I place people in there. There's a kiddie pool for people that are not comfortable going in the prayer wave. There's a kiddie pool for those who are not comfortable yet, and then they can go into the prayer wave. So it's been really fun. Did we lose Lorelei?
I want to say
I'm here. Oh, okay.
About the mask. I have a friend who lives in Kentucky, and she is really against this, and she says it's against her constitutional right. And it's actually called friction in our relationship because of her belief and my belief. I love her because she's a child of God like I am. I don't understand her reasoning. And she says this is the biggest scam ever. And she goes on with that constantly. And sometimes I just have to hang up. I can't listen to her anymore. And she's listened to programs that say they're telling the truth about there's so much that we don't even know, so many lies that we've been told. And I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I have family that works in, a lot of my family works in hospitals. And the hospitals here are full. Yeah. And not only of my family members who is, he's a male nurse. It's my daughter's nephew. He is sick with COVID right now. He's been taking care of people with COVID, and now he has it. And even though he was protected, by his gear as a nurse, he has it. And then another one of her friends he's fighting for his life.
And my sister's best
Very,
friend, my
very
sister
sick.
was on the front line I've told everybody this before, in the Detroit area up in Michigan. And her friend that she went through college with when she became a nurse, nursing school together. And she died within a day of getting it. It was so rapid, and people just, when I hear that, it's a disrespect for everybody who's lost somebody. And we've had a lot of people on this call who have lost family members to COVID. It's disrespectful to the people that have lost people. It's disrespectful to the healthcare workers, to the people that have to work so hard, like they are. They're just the tears. My neighbor, she broke down and she said, what a time to get this. And their team ends up with COVID-19 when they're so desperately needed at Vanderbilt and they can't work.
Right.
And you're just like, come on, folks,
Yeah.
But
the people that wear masks and then they don't cover their nose. They're not covering their nose.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
They won't cover their nose.
And you don't have to.
They cover their mouth and chin, but they won't cover their nose.
Yeah.
And
for some people,
my daughter worked. She got yelled at for yelling at a customer, because she didn't want the customer, because she told her to pull up her mask, and she walked away. She went to the service desk and she complained about my daughter because she told her to put her mask on. Yeah, she was wearing it around her neck.
I'm really regretful. This is one of my grudges too, is that it's become political. It should never have become political. And
I agree.
So I don't want to get into all that, but it has become a political thing, and that's really unfortunate. That's not what this is. This is about respecting and loving each other, respecting people who have fear, people that don't have fear. I still respect the people, and I'm going to wear a mask for me and for other people. So
yeah, I always wear mine.
Let's see. There was something I don't have it up here.
I'm upset with people that aren't covering they have it on, but they won't cover their nose.
And
what good is the mask?
My practitioner, Danny Williamson, she's been on the show before, and she's when she started her practice, I think I told everybody she had left the practice she was in, working for another doctor, and now it takes you 2 years to get into her. She is so popular. So she has this whole wonderful protocol for people that are very healthy. And it's beautiful. She has Gary and I on this protocol to stay very healthy. And then she also says, but Gary's diabetic. Gary has he's 70 and he's diabetic. So he has another risk factor, and this isn't a guarantee. So she works with Vanderbilt. She works with a lot of people. I need to have her come on again. They've been interviewing. She's got a new book coming out. Huh?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we need to have her on again so she can talk about all this. That would be really great. She's been on a lot of shows. She's got a new book coming out, and she talks about this. So
thanks, Laura.
Not a new book, a book. So first one, Danny Williamson. Danny Williamson, she's in Franklin, Tennessee, integrative family medicine. And she is amazing. We walked out of there and Gary and I had bags full of stuff she gave us for her protocol. And we're healthy and we're runners. And she said, that's a big thing. The deep breathing exercise are very holistic. Her whole practice is holistic. She said, but there are people, you're doing this for the people that are at risk. So yeah. And most of us here, I think, are over 60, or a good portion of us anyway. Not everybody, but 50s and 60s. And she is on Inside Out Healing. Is that what it is? She's on Facebook. She has a huge group. So you can look her up there. I'll see if I can find it and put it in there. What was it? I keep thinking in the back of my mind something else I was going to share with you guys, but I keep forgetting what it is. I keep looking over here like it's going to just show up. Lorelei, I want to talk for a moment about going back to the divine feminine and masculine energy, because we knew in 2013 that the divine feminine was awakening. And we have this energy right now that is at play, that is both masculine and feminine energy. The old masculine, I think, is gone. I think it's going by the wayside. And there's going to be a new way of expressing masculinity. And I see that in the younger generations, like with my grandson. And then we have the divine feminine coming in. So do you want to speak to that for a moment?
Well, I think we're having an opportunity to bridge those two, The Friday, of course, is the day of Venus. 13 is the divine feminine. Here we have the divine masculine. So, we could say we're warriors of the light, another way to sort of understand this. But again, it's an opportunity to bring these two parts of us together and be conscious of our male energy. It's one thing to be angry and to be reactive and it's a whole other thing to stand courageously for what you believe in. And in terms of the divine feminine, the feminine is strong unless we allow that, that a weakness that we haven't yet owned in ourselves. So there really is, again, this opportunity to bring together the male and female within each of us, no matter how we're wired, and that may be easier for some than others, again, depending on their wiring. But we really do have an opportunity to express the conscious masculine in us and the conscious feminine, because we're all here to achieve balance, really, whether we're aware of it or not. And so wherever we're out of balance is then what we attract from the outside, unhealthy masculine energy or healthy masculine energy, unhealthy feminine energy or healthy feminine energy. So we really can take both of those, masculine and feminine, to a whole new level of expression in terms of in the way of the divine. So it's very exciting. Extremely exciting.
Well, I've been working on really tapping into, even with the color that I have on, this purple. I don't wear typically feminine colors, what you would call feminine colors. I like bold blues and aqua, and I'm a runner. I ride a motorcycle. I've got a lot of male energy. But really tapping into my divine feminine. And I think that I've been able to do that as I've been painting. To me, look at how feminine she is. Mm-hmm. And I've had to really tap into that energy, because there's a lot of nurturing energy, feminine energy into this painting. And I've been having to tap into it to even be able to paint that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So bringing that forth is a challenge for somebody that, operates with a lot of male energy. Ferris, are there some comments there that we've lost?
About 1 million.
Okay. You want to bottom line them?
Yeah, the pictures are great. I like what Penny just said here, that OSHA there has stepped in with the grocery stores, et cetera, that are where they're offended about being sued by non-maskers by threatening, unquote, to close down the store if the mask rule is not enforced. There's a military supply store here in Nashville that's been there since before there was air, that has a great sign when you walk in their door. And the sign says, "You have a choice whether to wear a mask or not. You can also choose to shop somewhere else if you don't."
Love that.
And it hit me when I was reading this, Penny, and sharing people that go in the stores and they bitch and moan about it. Nobody has a right to tell them they have to wear a mask. But they don't think that by the same token, the store has a right whether or not to serve them.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's their right to be served. Just another rant, sorry.
And what one comedian said the other day, that I thought was really telling, the people that are rebelling about wearing the mask, but give them a gun and they'll be happy to put on a mask. or Superman, Superman, whatever, and they're saying, under certain circumstances, the ones that are yelling the most are the Ku Klux Klan, and those particular groups are the most violent about all this stuff. And
they're not bothering with masks now.
Yeah,
they're right out in the open.
They've got a problem with the mask.
They're right out in the open now, so that don't work. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Sandy said 45 said it would go away on November the 3rd. And that statement alone should prove to his fanatic followers that he lied to them. He just got the date wrong. Patricia said, I just watched the documentary Heal on Netflix, and the woman who was getting chemo through a port and always asked it to target specifically the cancer and no other cells. She only needed one round and no radiation and had no cancer at all after the first round. Mary said, bless you, Sharon. I've been through the chemo and radiation. You'll be fine. If you can just see it, it's just another thing to learn. Penny said a nurse manager spoke at their governor's press conference saying people clapped for them as heroes during the first round. Now those nurses are asking us to be their heroes and follow the guidelines. They're on partial lockdown again already.
I saw some of the nurses saying that they're now demonized for insisting people wear masks, and they've actually had threats. And I think that's just that's when doing this release, that's exactly where my mind went. With holding a grudge. I'm trying not to. I'm really working on it, but I have an issue with that.
Yeah. And hospitals all over the country, not just 2 or 3, hospitals all over the country are already having to start triaging.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Yeah. My sister said their hospitals are all filled up again in Michigan. And then Vanderbilt is, wherever they put them in the facilities here in Nashville, I don't think it's Vanderbilt, but is it at the VA? I know they've got a wing.
VA has a ward for COVID, and so does Vanderbilt.
Okay. All right. Now they sent out a notice saying that's completely full.
Patricia said she also heard that when Mars goes direct this time, it's still moving forward slowly, but for a little while, but at least it's forward.
Yeah.
How long does it take it to go forward?
Well, it's been hanging out in the same degree for the last almost couple of weeks, and it will be by the end of November, it will sort of move to the next degree. So we'll feel more momentum, especially after the new moon and then into the end of November and into December for sure.
Mm. What is that?
Patricia said a local store has a sign that says masks are mandatory, but shirts and pants are optional.
It's getting cool to go without shirt and pants.
Yeah. Belinda said, here in Massachusetts, you're mandated to wear a mask. State police are out finding folks who are not complying. Good. Uh, Penny said Ellen Pompeo that it's, in Grey's Anatomy, said she's been wearing a mask daily for filming for years and her health hadn't been affected at all by it. So
It doesn't affect the health.
So it doesn't hurt you to wear a mask.
My neighbor says, I don't get how people come up with this stuff because I've been a nurse for 37 or 27 years and I'm still here and just fine. She doesn't get it.
Mary said, I'd like to share this that came in through Dee Wallace's channel. I am creating love, integrity, truthfulness, dignity, and power through divine love for all energy in all dimensions. I command all energy to define itself as these attributes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, and Patricia said, and in one hospital, actually, I believe I've heard that it's even more than one now. That they're so low staffed that doctors and nurses are being asked to work even after they've tested positive, as long as they're asymptomatic.
Okay. Yep.
We live in interesting times.
We do. We do. And again, I keep coming back to this. This isn't about, it's not a political statement. It's about respect. It's just about respecting. And like she said, Dee said, this is about love. This is looking at others. Okay, maybe I don't think I need a mask, but you know what? I love other people enough to wear a mask for them because they may be vulnerable, like Ferris. We had to wear them in the house around my aunt and Ferris while we were, waiting to find out what was going on. And they said to distance also for 14 days because we had been exposed to somebody that's positive. So, it's interesting. This could go away fast if we do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not fast, but
I don't think it's going to go away fast.
Not now. It's too widespread. Interestingly, the motorcycle community, hard hit. The people that went to the Sturgis motorcycle rally, thousands of people.
Oh, really?
Ended up with it, yeah. Yeah, if you type in Sturgis. I can't remember what the numbers were. I saw it. And no masks and no distance. That
was just one great big loud rave with loud mufflers.
Yeah. And Gary wanted to go. I'm like, no way. I would like to go someday when it's safe. Okay. Anything else? Well, I didn't think we were going to get on this topic, but I think that this is where most people's concerns are. Just the fact that everybody kind of rallied around this topic tells us this is what's on people's mind. And again, just having a scare myself, seeing how sick my neighbor is, and Nilu has a daughter that's 17. Jazzy is just a beautiful young girl, and she's isolated from her mom now. And as a healthcare provider, feeling guilty that she can't be in the hospital when they're needed the most, when they're almost at capacity or at capacity. I didn't finish reading the article. It just came in. And yeah, I'll have to go and look at it. It's either at capacity or close to capacity. And her and other nurses there aren't able to work because they're all sick. So, whew.
Cindy, have you gotten any updates on how many more cases your guides have talked to you about, or is it just the one time?
What I've heard right now, not how many cases total, because most cases are not severe. Like 90% of people will recover fine. And, there's a certain percentage of that would be like a really bad flu. It's that top, is it 5%, Ferris?
I don't even know.
Is it 5 or 10%? That
it depends on which politician you ask.
Yeah, well, I'm going with Vanderbilt. I mean, yes, Vanderbilt too, but I still sit in at Harvard's briefings every week that they do, Harvard and Johns Hopkins. So I send in, I'm a science geek. And since my degree is from, the National Institute of Whole Health at Harvard, I get to sit in on these meetings, even though I don't understand all the science. And they talk about it. It's really fascinating. I'm learning a lot. But I usually go with them, but I don't remember the stats now because the tracking system was, they put that it's not being properly tracked like it was.
And how about your guides? Have they talked to you about
200, only about the deaths?
Okay.
Only about that top % deaths. And it's still, I was told, Bernadette, that 200 on July 1st, you remember me talking about that 250,000 more would die by winter, that winter was coming and 250,000 more would die. But but that we could change that. But things have gotten worse, not better. So we're still on track for that, but I don't have an exact date. I keep seeing 12/21 everywhere. So I don't know if that's what that means. I'm asking for clarity, but I haven't, because most people, they'll be all right. I was all right. I had it. My worst problem was the residual effects. And for most people, that's what it is. Even people that had very minor issues with it end up with these residual issues. And I had heart inflammation and esophagus inflammation. And that took a long time. I still can't run all out. So it's the residual effects that are causing people even more problems. That's what they're discovering. But as far as deaths, that's the only thing that I've been given was that. But I get updates regularly. That's just the one that hasn't, I was told it could be changed, but behaviors haven't changed. So, Ferris? Yeah, the neurological issues.
Yeah.
And kidney. I didn't realize how bad it was. That's why NILU is so needed at work, because so many people with COVID end up with kidney issues.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yep. Huge.
Man.
They say it's actually bloodborne. At first they said it was lungs, and now they're saying that they believe that it's bloodborne.
It's a booger.
Yeah. So it goes through all the body systems. That's why people end up with the residual issues.
We saw a man on TV in Quebec. He was hired to do a commercial. Mm-hmm. He had a tracheotomy, I think. Is that the word?
Mm-hmm. Tracheotomy.
And so some people wondered if it was a comedian or, if it was fake. But then he went on Sunday night on the main talk show, and he explained that he had been he was in his 50s. He wasn't that old, and he was an entrepreneur, a building entrepreneur, and now he can't work anymore because of his tracheotomy. Wow. Because he got COVID.
Wow, I hadn't heard anybody else with that. But when somebody says it's no big deal, they're telling me I'm no big deal. That's where the resent for me comes in. This is where my grudge comes in. That's where that energy comes from, when people say it's no big deal and people are just trying to scare us. And that I hear them say, I'm no big deal. And the residual issues were no big deal. Linda lost both her parents to COVID. They're no big deal. That's what I hear. And that's where I have to do a whole lot of work around that, because they're telling people that are sick that they're no big deal, that they called it to themselves. I didn't know it existed. And neither did anybody else when I was sick. I didn't call in anything. I just was exposed to it. And so, I'm going to burn this piece of paper and hope that I can get rid of that, because that's where I have issues too. Because we matter. Other people who are sick, they matter. Our healthcare workers, they matter. My husband matters. He's in healthcare. So, lots of Ho'oponopono. Let's do Ho'oponopono. Lorelei, you want to lead us in that?
Oh, well, just bring to mind anything that you're holding that doesn't serve you anymore, whatever it is, any grudge, any anger, any overwhelm, any fear, anxiety, doubt, worry, anything, and just bring it in and say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Because what the truth is that whatever's in the field that doesn't feel good is just there to be cleaned and neutralized. So I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And for the power of 3, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you.
Beautiful. And for those of you who tap, that's how I do it. And Lorelei and I both tap it in.
I tap and I do Ho'oponopono and tap.
That's what I mean. I do it. I do my clearing first. And, I do my whole clearing and go through the whole thing, whatever I need to clear. And then I'll do Ho'oponopono. And it's amazing how much calmer I feel. Mm-hmm. And I do have to do it several times a day these days.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's not just once a day and I'm good. So, but I invite everybody, whatever drawings you did, and that's your own private thing there. You can burn it, you can tear it up and flush it, you can send it in a balloon, as I said, however you want to release this. And I'm going to do that, and I'll probably have to do it again and again, because I do have a problem when somebody says it's no big deal. And I will continue to, because I see the stress it puts on the healthcare workers and, my neighbor. And like I said, I think about how a week, not lately, but in the beginning, not a week went by that we didn't have somebody in our community that a family member had COVID and was very sick, and a lot of deaths. So we've got to keep doing this work, everybody. Mm-hmm. And here's to our community. And again, this is not about fear. This is about respecting each other, loving each other, sending out our light beings from our edges, as Zaya says. So to all of us. And Lorelei, here's to you. Thank you for coming and sharing today.
May I just share one more quick thing?
Oh, sure.
I just want to share, for anyone that's interested, because I still have 3 sacred seats in my playground for the Soul Circle. Next Saturday, the sun will be out of Scorpio in Sagittarius. The moon will be in Aquarius, Taurus rising for the playground. So if you want to unleash your genius and play full out and give yourself 100% permission to be who you are by giving conscious voice to your cast of characters, please join me. Maybe you can just put the link in
I'll put it with the replay email. Replay video.
Yeah.
Reboot.
Yeah. And that's Sunday the 22nd?
No, the 21st, November 2021, the sun goes into Sag. I deliberately waited until the sun is in Sag.
Okay, 11/21. Okay. All right, that's a Saturday.
Yes.
Tony, don't you go to sleep.
And I had a huge epiphany there, folks. You just, the right group of people just come together and you listen to everybody else, and it just, these huge pops of wow, awakenings come.
It's awesome.
It's really awesome. I thank all of you for being here tonight, and let's open up the lines and say thank you.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Night, guys.
I'll see you on Monday.
Love your energy. Love you all.